And let's kick this off. It's good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Marketing. My name is Kevin Britz and my wonderful co-host, Bjorn Salsone. Bjorn, how are you doing?
Hello! I'm so excited to be here. This is me in my false spring shirt. The heater is on and the door is open, so I've got this natural glow, but it feels so cold.
Yeah, I must say it's the weirdest spring that I've ever experienced. Like in the last 2 days, it's been raining and it's been cloudy and it's been like, what the hell? Like, what's happening? The planet has changed officially.
I know. But we're not here to talk about spring, are we, Kevin?
No, we are not. We are here to celebrate someone who's very special to South Africa. She's been around in South Africa in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. She's enjoyed many avenues as a performer.
Kevin, she doesn't look it. That's the main thing. She doesn't.
Exactly. I just want to give you some idea here. She started out her career as an actress. She became a singer, a dancer, a voice artist, and a radio DJ. And today she's been nominated for various awards in her career. And today she lives in Dublin, Ireland. Please welcome to the show, Helen Desbois.
Good morning. Hello. It's still morning here because it's 11 o'clock. So good morning.
So do we say top of the morning to you?
Oh, you know, I would have said top of the morning, but I actually got told off a few times for saying that because they said it's not a thing. It was created by, I don't know, something else like Hollywood. Or I don't know, but it's not actually a thing.
Oh wow! Okay.
Mind yourself. That's a thing. Mind yourself. But that's the end of the call. That's like, take care. Mind yourself.
Right. So that's like the whole thing in London. Mind yourself, which in the
mind the gap. Mind your gap. Yeah.
Mind your gap. Oh my gosh, Helen, how are you on this amazingly spring?
Well, I mean, it's kind of getting to
spring.
Autumn. Yeah, it's getting to autumn here. So, I mean, although it's been quite warm. So, but let's not talk about the weather because everyone does. But life's grand in Dublin, I must say. It's grand.
Fantastic. Helen, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking green tea in my sexy woman, world's sexiest woman mug.
Naturally.
There we go.
But is that like the special tea, Helen? You know, the special tea, the vodka green tea and the gin green tea and, you know, the special ones?
I know nothing of this.
And Kevin, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking vodka tonic for lunch.
Are you? Why not? I feel a bit
lunch.
sad, actually. It's not lunch yet here, so I suppose I could have had a little glass of Prosecco. That's like brunch time.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic.
So Helen, to kick this off, some people may not know who you are. I mean, a lot of us know, South Africa knows who you are. But don't you want to just give us a bit of background on telling people, you know, about you, where you stem from, where it sort of started for you, and sort of how it sort of evolved into where you are currently?
Okay, well, I mean, shall I go right back to the beginning? I was born in England. I'll give you the abridged version. I won't give you like all the moving around. But I was born in Yorkshire.
The big points, yeah.
Those important. That's like quite an important point.
Yeah.
The day of my birth. So, I was born in England in Yorkshire, Harrogate, and we emigrated to South Africa. When I was about 6 or so, and we were there for 6 years. And then we went back to England, then we came back, and I was always curious about showbiz and acting and stuff like that. I had these illusions of being famous and being on stage and being on screen and everything else. But then in the back of my mind, I also thought maybe I want to be a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. So I was forced to do Latin by my father because that was a thing. I'm showing my age now. Latin's like nowhere. So I did that, and then when I actually went for my first audition at school at St. Mary's School in Johannesburg, and I auditioned for Oliver at the school. Funnily enough, my son's called Oliver, and I remember going into the audition room. It was the first time I'd ever auditioned for anything really in my life. Like I'd done a few little school plays and stuff, but something like had changed in my mind, and I did this audition, and the teachers auditioning went and called other people to come and look at me and were like, look at this girl. Because it was a British accent as well. And I'd just come back from England. So I had like top, accent. Anyway. And then I just kind of, I actually went to an audition with a friend of mine for The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole And I wasn't going to audition. I just went to keep her company at the audition, and I got there, and the director, Jill Gerard, heard my accent, and she said, "Oh, you sound exactly like Pandora, Adrian Mole. Please audition." And I got it. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed. I got on TV, and that was kind of it. So, and I think in South Africa, I always say to people, people say, "What is your favorite? You know, is it acting or singing or dancing or whatever?" And I say, you know, most of my colleagues in South Africa can do everything. That they're quadruple threats, you know, and I think it's important to sort of be a mixed bag and be able to do all these things. So, you know, and dabble in different industries. And, you know, one year you're in film all the time, and the next year you're in TV all the time, and then you're recording, and that's just been my life, you know.
Helen, I have a question on that. Sorry, Kev, I'm diving straight in there.
I mean, I could go on for like another 20 minutes, but
Helen, so the one thing that I want to know, though, in as much as you say that you are doing a genre and you're honing on it, does that mean that you don't do the others in that year, or are you saying you mainly do the one? Because I think that's important for people that are going to be listening. Like, what does that actually mean practically?
Well, you know, I think you can never really know what's going to come. You know, there's opportunity, and you also might be at a certain place in your life where you look a certain way, so you fit into a box of a certain type of character, whether it be for television, film. Like, you start off as the kid, and then you're like the sexy young girl, then you're, you know what, and you go through these stages, and then you kind of get older, and then there are also gaps where you don't really fit in. And I mean, my agent always used to say to me, it's just a lull where you just don't fit into that last category of age, and you've kind of not into the next category either. And, you know, especially for commercials and stuff, brands have an idea of who they're marketing to. And it used to be that mothers, like if you're auditioning to play a mother, the mothers were like in their late 20s, and that was, you know, the mothers to the babies and the little children. And then that kind of shifted as the world shifted. And then it was like kind of early 30s. Then, you know, you'd be looking at people of that age playing mothers to whatever. But it just depended, I suppose, what was going on. And I suppose overall, it is really about branding, and it's about you as a brand. And if you're kind of busy doing one thing, you'd always kind of get interested in the other areas as well. You know, you'd always kind of be, okay, well, I'm doing the show at the moment, and then somebody would see you in the show and you get something else. And so you kind of ping pong off different things. But yeah, it's difficult to kind of choose which one to sort of go for as well. Another person said to me in my career, it was my mentor, Benji Moody, who signed me, got my first record deal. And he said, you should focus on one thing. You really should just, are you going to be a recording artist? Focus on that. And I said, well, is it going to pay my bills? And he said, well, you know, I don't know, maybe, kind of thing. And I was like, well, then how the hell am I supposed to do that? I can't do that. You know, then you end up singing contracts at casinos and this. And so that's how it all happens. As long as you're working, you know, to be a working actress or a working singer or a working radio DJ, to be working. It's like key.
Go work.
I'm just looking at your website and looking at the CV, and you know, all three of us have a background in entertainment I think, which a lot of people don't know. I also did a lot of voice work with the Voice of Steve. Bjorn, I know that you've performed, and you still do, and you do a lot of hosting events. But you know, I think if you look at the CV, it's television, movies, commercials, theater, music, voiceovers, training videos, and breakfast shows.
I was paying the bills. I was paying the bills, buying a house.
So I think
she's like a young Margaret Hirsch. Like Helen hustles like how Margaret Hirsch does. I can imagine Helen, like, when she gets to that age, she'll be like, right, so I'm just about to start my PhD, and you're like, okay, got it.
But
I don't know about that.
I think it's so true, though, because, you know, a lot of people go out there and they say, well, I'm going to be a recording artist, or I'm going to do a voice artist. And essentially the reality of the situation very often is that may not be the thing that's paying your bills, right? So do you think it's, you know, from your personal opinion and your perspective, do you think it's necessary for people to start especially in entertainment? Do you think they have to sort of hone a whole bunch of skills and have that kind of ability to do more than just one thing?
I do. Obviously, as you become older, you kind of become a mentor, you know, and kind of people learn from you. You become a teacher. But at the same time, you never stop learning either. Like I'm very open to learning and doing vocal things and, you know, dance classes and whatever I need to do to keep on top of my game. But I do think it is important for people to continue to hone their skills and to be diverse, I think. And especially now with social media and the word branding, it's just so important that if you know what your brand is, if your brand includes you being in musicals and on radio and whatever the case may be, on TV, on film, then that's your brand, you know. But if you're kind of just clutching at straws and going, well, so-and-so does 10 things and I only do 5, so I need to add those in, but it's not really part of your brand, then it's not really worth doing it, you know. But I just think to upskill yourself, it's all connected, especially in entertainment. It is all connected. All the facets and all the elements of the entertainment industry are connected. Unfortunately, it's all a bit quiet at the moment, but it's a good time for people to hone those skills and do some online stuff and learn some things. And I mean, I did an animation character voice workshop with this amazing person in Dublin online, and literally it blew my mind, because I'd done things always, you know, and to do it online was weird. But this woman kind of taught me stuff that even being an actress for 20 years, I didn't know, that related to acting. I was like, oh my gosh, I can totally use this in my acting as well, not just my voice acting. Yeah. So you just never know. You can keep learning, and it's important to hone skills for sure.
And just touching on where we're finishing off there is, I think that's, you know, it's key to having a foundation like that, right? It's key to be able to have that in your psyche, in your day-to-day activity. That's, you know, you've got to have that get up and go kind of thing. You've got to be willing to learn. You've got to be willing to be uncomfortable, because if you're not, you're quickly heading to disappointment.
Exactly.
Or, you know, like never actually meeting your own expectations.
No. And the thing is, like, the world is ever changing, and everything is ever changing. So who knew that I would be, you know, there I am in South Africa, known by everybody and just sailing along, doing my thing. And then boom, I'm in Dublin and I don't know a sausage.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. And here I am with my like pseudo British accent. They all think I'm from Australia. So I have to change and I have to step up again, you know?
Wow. Helen, so I think it's important for us, sorry, Kev, to actually talk about that. Let's talk about what radio stuff you did. And because, you know, we're going to get into radio that you now in Ireland, rolling the R's. So, yeah, can we just talk about that? Tell us about the radio stations that you worked in, what you did there, and like the morning shows, because I know one thing, because as you know, I visited you, so I know that kitchen. We played cards.
I've still got that packet of gluten-free pasta in my cupboard waiting for you.
I love it. And one of the things that I'm clear about is that I remember you and I having a conversation about when you got to Ireland, and sometimes now you wake up early in the morning.
Oh, still.
I don't think people often realize the sacrifices you made, because, you know, in events in South Africa, I remember very clearly you'd go, babe, sorry, got to go. It's 8 o'clock. I got to get to bed. Got to get up at 4.
8.
You know,
Yay.
Tell us about like the radio you did here.
I mean, what a gift to be able to do radio, and something that was like part of one of the big reinventions of my life, because I'd had a child. I'd been on tour with We Will Rock You, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I'm in the musical theater vibe now. Boom, pregnant, child. What do I do? Get on radio. I don't even know. I can't remember how it fell into my lap, that first job, but it did. And I still, it was like divine intervention of some kind. But yeah. I got on radio. I was like, I think I want to get on radio. Boom. And it happened. And I was like, okay. So, you know, I did the morning show at the first station, and then I was on breakfast radio at Chai FM for a couple of years. And then I wasn't on air for a bit. Then it was Mix FM with Tony Blewett and Steve Smith. And what a team, what an amazing team. Yeah. But yeah, to do a slot like that, and some people go, oh, what a pleasure. You like, do your work in the morning, 6 to 9 a.m., and then you're done for the day. And I was like, oh, no. After that, I was doing voiceover work every single day at a studio for People's Weather Channel. I was writing and recording scripts every day, SABC. I was and doing everything else. Plus, like you said, going out at night. Then you've got to be up at 4:30 in the morning to be on air, to go prep and be on air. So it's like a lifestyle. And people don't really understand that. You know, it's quite a hard gig to do, breakfast radio. I mean, I take my hat off to like Tony Bluett's been doing it for years, you know. I mean, I did 5 years and I was exhausted. When I stopped doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, how did I do that? Like how to get up. And also the thing is, I mean, it's radio, so you could just roll in there like in slippers and whatever, but to be engaged, you know, it's not just like, not to put down anybody's job by any means, but to wake up and have to like be engaged and do that at that time of day was quite a thing.
No, I mean, I would have to say that it's fine because some people are not engaged and they have really boring shows. So I'm like, people, you need to be engaged, have a conversation and make it matter, right? But
yes, because you would love to do a morning show, right? Because you are such a person.
Such a morning person.
I would never do it.
6 a.m. show.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't be able to do it. But do you know what, Helen, I think, you know, I mean, one of the key things that always stand out for me, and it's the way that you spoke about it now is like, I fell pregnant, bam, let me get on radio. You know, that quick sort of kind of process.
What am I going to do now? Yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with that because they get so wrapped up and caught up in what they focused on right now. And then they kind of go, okay, well, my life is now come to an end, or they have a child and they think, oh, nothing's going to be the same again. How am I going to be who I want to be? And I think it really does, you know, speak to a certain kind of foundation. But one of the things is, how do you get up when you're having a really bad day? Because we all have them and we all go through it and we go, ugh. But here you are, you have this CV that you have rocking online. And it's like, you know, it takes a certain kind of someone to be able to get up and do that.
You know, you do. It's not always easy. And you know, there's a lot of like door slamming in your faces going on in the industry, a lot of no's and very few yeses. And I always tell these young people or parents will say, oh, so-and-so wants to get in, Jimmy wants to get into the entertainment industry. And I tell them, I'm like, it's not easy, because people are saying no to you, and you get excited about something, and you even get a script and you read it and you go, oh, I love this character and I want to do this job and it's so amazing, and you don't get it, and you go for that and you don't get it. And there's a lot of just like, no, and you still have to continue. And sometimes it's hard. You know, I thought of giving up. I actually moved. I was going to go and live in England for a bit and just get a fresh start and just try things there. I went to Australia first, and then I was in London, and I was looking around London going, this is stupid. I've got so much behind me in South Africa. Why am I doing this? To start again, instead of just focusing on what I know, you know. And I did that and kind of reinvented myself in South Africa back in the day, turn of the century. And then actually things started happening. I got onto Celebrity Big Brother and did some amazing stuff. So, but it is hard to get up. You've just got to pull yourself up and get on with it. You know, you can't really have time to have a bad day. You've just got to keep thinking out of the box and looking for opportunity, because believe me, even like in these times of COVID, and I know people who have hustled work that they probably wouldn't have even imagined that they would have been able to. You've just got to think and go, okay, well, companies are closed down. So I got in touch with a bunch of studios in South Africa who I'd done stuff for, and I did a lot of on hold systems. And I was thinking, every company is going to be recording a message going, we're closed, we're closed, we're closed. And I got a whole bunch of work. At the beginning of shutdown in South Africa, I'd done it from here, doing that, because I was like, that's what's going to be needed now. So let's put it out there and see. So it's just got to think out of the box and make it happen, really.
Yeah, but essentially that's how this started, Bjorn. If we think we just like, hey, let's just have a good conversation around marketing, and then we kind of like went to the next step, and eventually I was like, how do I get this out there in more? And I picked up the phone and I emailed Ibis Radio. The initial response from Ibis Radio was like, no, this will be all your advertising fees. And I was like, okay, no, that's not what I'm doing. We're creating content. I want to share this with people. And essentially, I said, thank you, but this is, we're actually just looking to share content. And then suddenly got a phone call back, and Ingrid was saying, no, let's have this conversation. And that's exactly the point, right? You're kind of going, okay, let's just go. And now, there's lunchtime series happening Monday to Friday, which is exhausting. But making it happen, then it's quite tricky. But yeah, I mean, the people that we've had and the reach. Say that again.
At least it's not the breakfast show. You're not.
Exactly.
No, I was like, lunchtime is good. Lunchtime I'm awake.
You're not going to do like dawn time marketing. No.
Kevin will not be doing the breakfast show with Kevin. Like, no way.
It's not going to happen.
Kevin, let's talk about that reach before we go on to the next question with Helen. You were going to say something about reach.
Yeah, essentially, the reach, some of because how you measure online radio is unique IP addresses. So in the last couple of months, Ibis Radio's got over 600,000 unique IP addresses connected to the website.
Amazing.
So the reach that the Ibis Radio is having is phenomenal. And
Ingrid said last month, remember, it was over 1 million. I was just
over 1 million.
I was like, that's crazy.
So exactly on Helen's point, like, you just got to keep hustling, and you keep going, and you keep going, and suddenly, I've been more busier in COVID than I was out of COVID, which is like, what? In my head, I'm going, what?
And also, don't you think, Kev, it's like about momentum a little bit, and about energy and when things are happening. Like I always used to complain. I used to complain to my mum and be like, oh, I was like doing nothing. Last week I had 5 free days. I had 0 on, and now everybody wants me. And she was like, yeah, that's how it works, It's just this momentum and energy.
And it's that saying where people we often hear, if you want something done, give it to a busy person, right?
Yeah.
It's the quicker you get to getting things done is like really get yourself busy and get involved and just speak and phone and contact. And I think that's speaks volumes to getting to success, specifically in the times that we find ourselves in today. But
and connection, like I mean, even being here, going back to the radio thing, I was trying to, you can't just cold call and be like, hey, they're just, and you can't just send your demos. They won't listen to them. So there's actually a group here, South Africans in Ireland, and I've been trying and trying to connect with people on Instagram here, which I've managed to be quite lucky doing through an event I went to when I first got here. But I put something in this group, and this guy reached out to me, and I don't know, you might know of him, but his name's Brian Barry. He's also like a speaker and stuff like that. And he is the one who gave me a whole bunch of contacts that he knew, people who knew him, who he knew, and they knew, and whatever. And that's how I got into radio. So it was ultimately a South African who actually assisted me. Yeah.
Helen, so can I ask you something? So you got there, and let's kind of like just unpack that, because I think a lot of people battle. So now we know how you got into radio via a group. But let's talk about the hustling, because I know you hustle, and you hustle hard, and you're not scared. You'll do it. You always just say, babe, if they say no, they say no. Just go to the next one.
Yeah, you've got to ask. Like, that's my motto in life. You've got to, the worst they can do is say no. And then you're just like, okay. And then actually sometimes I just ask again for good measure. Like,
are you sure?
No twice. Are you sure about that? But yeah, you just got to keep pushing. But I mean, when I got here, I literally was just, it was hard. I mean, don't get me wrong, to go from really things were good in South Africa for me from a career point of view. I was buzzing. I was busy and doing this and that. And I was in the process of putting Showbiz in Full HD, my entertainment website, onto, we were going to pitch for TV, we were doing shooting stuff with a production company, and it was all happening. Wow. And then boom, we left, and that was it. Boom, everything ended. So for the first few weeks, I actually was like, I was a bit down because I had lots to do because I was in a new town and Oliver was starting school and, you know, busy settling, but not busy. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I was just, don't know what I'm doing. And then it was like 10 days actually after I got here, I met somebody in the park. I've got a dog, so that was a good excuse to get out. I think I might have just been sitting at home. He's actually sitting by the door. Can you see him?
Yes.
I would have just probably been wallowing in self-pity inside, but I'd been out, met this guy, and he said, oh, these event sites, he said, you register for them and you put in your interest and you get emails and they tell you this event's happening and this event, and some are paid and some aren't. So I did that, and a bloggers one came up and I thought, oh, well, you know, in South Africa, I had the website /blog, let me go. Went to this bloggers brunch event and met the most amazing people. And that was the start of my proper kind of networking connection friends as well. And through these amazing girls, I've met a million other people and been connected to things. And I'm on PR lists now, and it's all going good. It's really going well. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Okay, so off the cuff, tell us something that nobody knows about you. Something that people would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe she said that." Tell us something unusual about you.
Well, probably the most unusual thing that people maybe don't know about me is that I'm a qualified sailor.
Oh wow!
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So when I was at school, I actually did a few courses and I loved it so much, and I had a real passion for it. I did up to watch leader, which is basically a deckhand with navigation. And then I actually got selected to, they offered me like a free course to go and do my skipper's license. But obviously you need to get your nautical miles and you need to spend time. Excuse me. And then just shortly after I finished school, and I haven't even actually asked him if he remembered this, but I was hostessing at a place called Bertie's Big Easy at the Randburg waterfront. It's like years ago when there was still actually water there. So that's
Right.
Many years.
Yeah. So I was hostessing there.
Shopping mall there.
Yeah, it's just like a mall now, and there's a TV studio there. But so I was hostessing there. I was running the draw in this place. I was the hostess with the mostest, and Darren Scott used to come actually to the place, and always used to chat to him. And he'd said, we got chatting about sailing one day, and I said, well, I'm a qualified sailor, and I've done this and this and that and blah. And he told me, he was like, this friend of mine is connected with the South African like racing team, and they're actually looking for a woman to join for the Whitbread Round the World race, to join the South African team. And I was like, wow, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I spoke to them, and it would have meant relocating to Durban, training with them there in Durban for like 9 months, and then doing the race. And I just sort of looked at my situation and where I was and what I was doing, and I didn't want to like upend my acting career and the headway that I'd made there to go and do this. But there's a story.
Oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. I had no idea.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And now where I live, there's I live right by a marina where you could go sailing. When we haven't been, but we must go.
It's so cool. So Helen, from a perspective of being a hustler, being successful in everything you're doing, and being in a new country, what sort of advice can you give people to sort of reinvent themselves in Ireland, for example, or in a new country? Like, if you could share some practical things that people do, what would that be?
I mean, I think it's very important to get out. I suppose it depends what situation you're in, because some people will have been transferred, you know, they will have been or been offered a job. So, and I think, you know, in a way, in a situation like that, it maybe is a little bit easier to integrate. I mean, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but because you are being sort of put into another community, so to speak, you know, you're going to go into an office and you'll be set. But if you're like me, where my husband was the one who had the job and I was just kind of here, I would say it's important to get out. And I mean, a country like Ireland, people just talk to you Like they just, everyone
true.
talks to you. You
Yes.
just, wherever you go, they just, everyone's chatty and chitty and whatever. So it's important to get out and speak to people, and also ask people. Like, don't be afraid to ask people if you want to find out how things work, you know, in either in your field or just in the country itself. Just ask and kind of immerse yourself in everything, in the culture and in the way of life. It's very easy for people to get wrapped up. I mean, I mentioned this South Africans in Ireland Facebook group, which has been amazing. It's been so good, you know, getting support and having people who are South Africans who live here, who can help with certain things. But I think a lot of people sometimes move to another country and they become quite sort of insular, and they want to stick to their people, where I think it is important that you meet as many people as you can, you know, and put yourself out there. Funnily enough, I mean, Ireland is full of immigrants. Like most of my friends, I think I've got one Irish friend, and the rest are from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been to Ireland. Like, what are the major differences for you, like living here compared to living there?
I was talking to someone else about this the other day and saying it's so funny because Dublin is the big smoke, you know, in Ireland. Of course, there's other big towns that you can go to and work in and do a thing, but this is like kind of where it all happens. And in South Africa, Joburg is the big smoke, you know, and it's the rat race, and the pace is so quick. It's so fast that you don't realize until you leave. I mean, it's almost like when you leave to go on holiday and you're just like, whoo, I can actually chill now. But Joburg has this energy, which just, I haven't experienced like that in anywhere in the world. I mean, New York maybe, but I haven't worked there, so I haven't been in the rat race there. But then coming here, everything's just a little bit calmer, you know, it's a little bit laid back. One thing I did notice, which was funny, is in South Africa, literally you have options. So let's say you were looking for, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of something we were trying to find. I don't know, like a tablecloth. A tablecloth, okay. Or a car is a good example. We battled
an ironing board. An ironing board.
An ironing board cover. An ironing board cover. Yeah. Bjorn actually brought me an ironing board cover because I had one of the small ironing boards, which they don't sell here anyway. They have the adjustable ones, but it doesn't adjust that small. So he had to bring me one. Yeah. So that's a good example. And tablecloths. I was like trying to find a tablecloth. And there aren't these big sprawling malls and big shops. And there's a few, and you can go to the main high street in Dublin City and there's shops there and everything. You just don't have the options. In South Africa, you can literally, in your area, you could travel in a 5-kilometer radius and you could find probably 30 options of a shop or a thing or whatever in any kind of subject. Yeah. And here, I was just literally going, what? You can't find stuff. I mean, we were looking for continental pillowcases and couldn't find them. I found some in Galway a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Wow. On the other side of Ireland.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and like buying a car as well, because you have to order. If you buy a new car, you have to order it because unless they have stock, but then you can't obviously pick your color and this and whatever. And it's got to come from the mainland, which is England. Like that's the mainland. But yeah, it's just kind of, it takes some getting used to.
That's fantastic. Helen, so in sort of summary of wrapping up today, I mean, sorry, Bjorn, are we got any more questions here? Because I know we have to stick to a bit of a schedule.
No, we stick to the schedule. I'm all good. All good.
Are we good? So thank you for joining us. You know, in some of the notes that I've been making here is the importance of networking, hustling, and also understanding that no is okay. You know, just like that's definitely something I'm taking away. Bjorn, I just want to check with you. Tell us any of the key things happening in your world at the moment.
Sure. I
no pressure.
There's a few. I have to tell you, I'm totally not off the cuff, and this is not a paid comment. I went to an in-person gig last night, and I have to tell you, it was a restaurant relaunch, and it was. I saw online, yeah. was, I was driving there and I was actually thinking about Helen, because I remember thinking, if Helen was here, I'd have said, Helen, don't you want to come with me? Like,
Yeah.
We've done that before. We've done a few events together because we just had
Yeah.
so much fun. And the restaurant's called Ethos, and they're in Santon. And I arrived and I was like, do I keep my mask on? Do I walk in with a mask? It was the strangest, weirdest thing. And I had to tell you, it was so cool. It was such an awesome evening. I mean,
Fantastic.
as I said, this is not a paid thing, but why I'm sharing it is it just made me realize a few things. As I was arriving, I was thinking about Helen, and I was like, oh, if Helen was here, I'd have just had so much fun. And then I remember thinking, oh, at least I get to see her like today.
Yeah.
And what I just realized, Helen, is that you don't realize you leave a lasting impact on people's lives.
Aww.
I mean, last year, this time, minus a month, I was in Ireland with you, in your home and having a holiday. It was the first time I was in Ireland, so I was like, the second time I was in Ireland, because it was the first time I was in Dublin, because the previous time I'd been in Galway, as we discussed. And I just remember thinking how crazy the world is. As much as I hadn't seen you, I saw you last month online, at least
yes, exactly.
I see you again.
I know, it's funny. Like, you don't feel like you miss people in a way because you kind of see them, Just can I add something, because it's just something interesting. Like, someone asked me as well that for this other kind of thing I did, they said about what do you miss about South Africa, and I said, well, I miss my people. And you've got technology, so I can speak to you, and all the people watching can watch on Facebook Live, and I can connect with all those people on WhatsApp and this and whatever, you know what I mean? But what about all those other people who were part of my life, like the car guards in my area, and the people at the traffic lights, and the ladies who worked at the spa? Those are my people as well, and I don't get to see those people, so I miss those people.
Yeah.
And that local Indian restaurant we used to go to Norway.
Yes, those people, because those are your people, but you don't necessarily have their number. You're not going to have a chat. You saw them every day of your life, maybe, but you're not going to see them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kim, tell us what's happening in your world.
There's so much happening in my world at the moment. I'm like, if I don't stick to per minute on my schedule, I'm gonna disappoint a few people. But I'm currently, because I do a lot of leadership facilitating programs. So really awesome to start with some new companies this week and next week. And the training that we're doing for the Cape Town Education Department, which is really cool. And yeah, we're just full steam ahead with the lunchtime series, and we go. Actually, come to mind now. That's what we're doing this month. Just tell us more about what we're doing this month, Bjorn, in terms of the lunchtime marketing.
Cool. So next week, you actually know Helen, Tanya Kowalski. She immigrated to the Netherlands.
Yes.
So she's actually going to be on the show next week.
Okay.
As another South African who's reinvented herself in Europe. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And then it looks like, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it looks like we've got a gentleman from LA just talking about what he's doing in Hollywood. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll see what's going to be happening for the 24th. It's Bride Day. So we've got to be creative about the lunchtime series, but we'll make it happen.
So Helen, if anything else coming up in your world at the moment, I know, I want to leave everyone to sort of tune into your show if they want to hear more about you and everything, but any events that you can tell us that you're part of, or anything exciting happening, and then please tell us, where do we listen to you live?
Okay, so you can listen to the radio show. I'm on Tuesday mornings. My dad always gets the time wrong, but it's South African time is 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's on Good Morning Dublin. That's just once a week for now. And then as far as things coming up, I actually was quite excited that I managed to get a London agent quite recently. And I've just kind of had my first sort of set of self-tape auditions for quite a big TV show that's happening and that they're filming in Dublin. So that's exciting. So I auditioned and very pushed out of my comfort zone with that one, doing accents I've never done. Very, very much so. And then I'm also, there's a couple of other things in the pipeline that I'm just waiting for the green light on. But hey, it could be a no, it could be a yes. That's the excitement of this game, Yeah, and then my website, Showbiz in Full HD, actually just relaunched the whole thing I decided to clean it all up and just kind of, sadly, you know, I'm here now, so it's all Dublin and UK based and some international stuff as well. But so it's all clean, brand new look, brand new feel, and I've got quite a few collaborations and sort of stuff coming up on that as well. So that's exciting.
Oh, that's awesome! Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So guys, in wrapping up today, Helen, thank you for joining us. Guys, if you want to check out Helen's website, it's helendesbois.com. It's going to be easiest. And you can hear Dublin City FM every Tuesday between 10 and 11. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah, that's our time. So your time is 11 to 12.
Okay, 11 and 12. On Good Morning Dublin. And guys, if you want to find out more about myself and Bjorn, all of this is going to be shared on all our social medias. And Bjorn, your website is tnc-marketing.com, right?
Yeah, that's it.
.co.za. Mine's businessbydesign.co.za. And yeah, Helen, thank you so much for joining us. That was such a fun conversation. And please come back and tell us when you are kicking off this new series. And
well, fingers crossed.
We'll be looking for it. Please share.
I will for sure.
Brilliant.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Chat to you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.